Hi, first graders. How are you? Welcome to your math lesson for today. Today we are going to be focusing on working with two-digit number stories, and then we're going to do a little bit with what it looks like when we add three numbers together. For the first part, though, for adding and doing some two-digit number stories, I'm just going to show you my screen here. We are going to be working with some of the animal cards that you guys have seen before. So some of the cards we've seen before where they have like an animal's height or an animal's weight on them, we're going to be using those because most often when you're doing a number story that involves adding a few things together, it might be if you're combining the weight of something, if you're weighing more than one thing, which would be in pounds, or if you're measuring the height of something, imagining if you were stacking some objects on top of each other. So we'll see both of those scenarios today. Your work for today is going to be posted on Seesaw or through your teacher's newsletter that you should get this morning. So you should have that already. Email if you don't. So let's just warm up. If you have a piece of paper with you, I want you to write down these two numbers, 13 and 10. And with a little space between them, I want you to use your inequality symbols, your greater than, less than, or equal to. And I want you to make sure that you're making sure that that mouth, right, in my class, we always talk about it like it could be an alligator or a crocodile, but that is going to eat the bigger number. So I'll give you a minute now to do that. Which number is larger, 13 or 10? Well, I'm hoping you solved that pretty quickly. We should feel comfortable with this to know that yes, 13 is greater than 10, or we would say that 10 is less than 13. Let's do one more. Here are two numbers to compare. You can go ahead and write them down, 43 and 80. So again, use your inequality symbol and decide which is the larger number. I want to make sure that the opening of my angle, right, that open spot, is facing the larger number. So for me, first graders, I'm going to go ahead and recognize that 80 is larger, so I would draw it going this way. And the way I would say that to a friend is 80 is greater than 43, or 43 is less than 80. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. So today's math message, I'm going to solve for you, a little bit different than in class, but just to get us familiar with what the work is. Problem says, how much more does the koala weigh than the eagle? Well, I'm paying attention to this phrase here, how much more. Oftentimes when I hear how much more, my brain goes into subtraction mode. I think, okay, how much more? I need to find the difference between these two things. But I'm more comfortable with addition, so let's solve it that way first. So let me take in my information. I see that I have a koala, and my koala weighs 23 pounds. LBS is the abbreviation for pounds. And I see that the eagle weighs 15 pounds. There it is again, LBS. So how much more, the koala is heavier, how much more does the koala weigh than the eagle? Well, I told you that my brain went to subtraction first, but I'm going to solve this with addition. So here's where I'm going to start. When I do that, I'm going to write down what I know. I know that the eagle weighs 15 pounds. I'm going to write that over here. 15 pounds is how much the eagle weighs. And I'm trying to figure out how much more would it be if the eagle weighed the same as the koala. I know that the koala weighs 23 pounds. So how much more is it to get from 15 to 23? That's the work that I'm doing. Here's where your number grid is really helpful. So I'll start over here. I'm at 15, and let me just sort of use my marker to show that I've counted as I've gone along. I'm not going to count 15. I'll start from there. So 15, counting up to 23. 16, here we go. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I added 8 dots. So it was 8 clicks in order to get up to 23. So that means rather than my question mark, I can now say that 15 plus 8 equals 23. That's the difference in their weights. Let me just show you how I turn this into subtraction though. If it were subtraction, I would start off with the heaviest weight, right? The weight of the koala, it's 23 pounds. I'm going to put my largest number first, and I'm going to subtract the weight of the eagle. So I'm going to subtract the 15. And in that case, 23 minus 15 would also equal 8, because I know that whenever I have a number sentence, I can turn it around and that these three numbers will go together as an addition sentence or a number sentence. But let's just prove it quickly. I'll switch to blue so you can see me. So here I am, I'm at 23, I'm at the weight of the koala, and I'm gonna now count backwards until I get to 15, which is the weight of the eagle. So I'm taking away, excuse me, I'm not gonna stop at 15, I'm gonna take away 15. I have 23 pounds, I'm gonna take away 15 of them and see what I'm left with. Watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Notice where I land. That last number I say is what my answer is. So my answer is 8. Okay? Now, the work you're going to be doing today might look like this, where you have the weight of two animals and you imagine a cat and a raccoon are sitting in the scale at the same time. How much do they weigh together? I think a part total diagram is one of the best tools we can use, because we think about, here's one part, here's the other part, what are they all together? So one of my parts is what? The weight of the cat. So the weight of the cat, can you guys see it there? It's a little bit small. Here it is. 7, again, LB, that stands for pounds. So I'll put one of my parts, one thing on the scale is the cat. The other thing on the scale is the what? Yeah, it's the raccoon. So here's the raccoon and here's its weight, 23 pounds. I'll put that over here. So I have 23-pound raccoon and a 7-pound cat. And I want to combine these to see how much they weigh all together. Your best strategy when you're adding two numbers together is to always start with the higher number, the bigger number, and count up from there. So my bigger number here is which one? It's the raccoon, right? So the raccoon is more. Let me start at 23 and I'll count up 7. Go ahead and do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where did I end? I ended at 30, right? I had the 23 pounds. I added on the 7 pounds of the cat, and the total weight of those two animals is 30. And what's my unit? Pounds. L, B, let's see if I can do this, S. Okay, so 30 pounds. If I'm writing this as a number sentence, however, this is how it looks. It would look like this. 7 plus 23 equals 30. So that's how something looks from going from a part total diagram into a number sentence. Okay? All right, so mathematicians, today you are going to, let me jump ahead to where you're at. You're also then going to look at adding 3 numbers together. For the 3-number problems, it's no longer working with 2-digit numbers, but you might end up with a 2-digit answer. Here's where we just want to think about imagining like stacking things on top of each other. This is pretending some animals are acrobats and they're in a circus. So I have a toad, and imagine a skunk on top of a toad, and then a squirrel on top of a skunk, and I want to know how tall they all are together. So in this instance, I have 3 add-ins. That means I need to put 3 numbers here in my number sentence. So I have 5 inches is the toad's height. Can you guys see the height of the skunk? Yep, 8 inches here for the skunk. So 5 plus 8 plus, here's my other squirrel, 5 inches for the squirrel. Now take a minute and think about how you would solve that. 5 plus 8 plus 5. I'm guessing that most of you, like me, see something pretty significant in this problem. If you don't, I'm going to whisper it. I see a doubles fact. It's a doubles fact, but it's also one of my 10 facts. So the very first thing I would do to solve this, to make it pretty easy on myself, because addition is great, I can add in any order. I'm going to be like 5 plus 5, that is 10. And then I'm going to come back and I'll add on my 8. So 10 plus 8, I'm running out of room down here. Anything when I have a 10 and I add 8 on, that gets me 18. Okay, so you'll see some simpler addition, but where there are 3 numbers. Let me just jump ahead and show you the page that you're going to see either posted to Seesaw or in your S'more newsletter. Here it is. It asks you, again, same idea. The animals are on a scale together. Find the total weight of the animals. So a raccoon and a rabbit, a dolphin and an octopus, a koala, and a fox. Okay, so those are three different problems. And again, think about using a part total diagram or certainly using your hundreds grid if you have that with you at home. Then down below, just some quick and simple, imagine stacking objects above. And you're gonna have 3 add-ins in each of these. And there, I've already put the unit inches in for you. Okay? All right, first graders, I'm gonna send you off to do your work today. I hope that you do well with this, and we will see you all soon for our next math lesson. All right, take care.